Hey guys, Haddy the creator here, creating something new to share with you and also sharing many creations made by a lot of you guys. So in this video I'm going to do a few different things. First off, I want to do the drawing prompt that we did in the group We the Creators, the Discord group with the link down below that any of you can join. It's just a collective group where we try to motivate one another, collaborate with one another, and promote learning. Promote trying new things, doing weekly art challenges to kind of get ourselves out of our comfort zone and to learn new skills and pick up new things. So if that sounds interesting to you, go ahead and join and you can be part of the group We the Creators and we can create together. After I go over the drawing prompt, I am going to jump in and show some different fan art I have received and draw some of the characters that I had sent to me. It's really cool to get these. A lot of these come from my friends' kids or my kids' friends. It's really fun to see that my videos are inspiring creativity and motivating people to draw more. That is basically my goal for doing this whole channel. After that, I just want to spotlight a couple of the weekly challenges that we have done in the group We the Creators as well. I'm not going to show all of the entries for these, just a couple of them to kind of show you what we do. After that, I may ramble on a little bit about the channel, but we'll get to that later. The drawing prompt was loyal sidekick. So everybody drew up what they thought of when they read loyal sidekick. Some people used a pet, some people used an iconic sidekick from pop culture, and I'm gonna draw who I think of as a reliable sidekick. The first thing I thought of was Chewbacca. I'm a bit of a Star Wars nerd, that goes without saying. I've got the Stormtrooper up here I customized on the shelf, and a few other Star Wars paraphernalia over there. I also have this little guy on my desk, a little Stormtrooper helmet I spray painted gold just because I thought it looked cool. So Chewbacca is a loyal sidekick from start to end. And ironically, some of my good friends gave me this Chewbacca shirt that I'm wearing now, so that fits, right? So let's draw Chewbacca wearing a Chewbacca shirt. I actually got to meet Peter Mayhew, who played Chewbacca in the original trilogy and stood in where he could in the other movies. He kind of had a lot of health problems in the later end of his life before he passed away. When I met him, he was in a wheelchair, but he was such a nice guy, very cool, and I actually gave him a Chewbacca sweater that I designed for the company Beloved Shirts, which was pretty cool. He was really appreciative. Now getting into this drawing, I wanted to draw Chewbacca and me, both, well, at least the avatar version that I draw of myself with the square nose. For whatever reason, I like drawing characters with a flat nose like that. So we're going to be back to back, and I'm going to be holding some art supplies because I don't think it's fitting that I hold any sort of weapon. I'm not a violent dude. I'm just an arty guy. I like to draw. I draw violent guys sometimes, but I'm not violent myself. I did wrestle with my brothers a lot growing up, at least my older brother, but I'm not too violent. I mean, if you try to hurt my kid, I'll probably get violent and go crazy on you. Bruce Lee karate chop you in the neck or something like that. But if I don't have to be, I am not violent. Regardless, I'm just drawing really quick sketches up in red, and then I will go in and do a more refined drawing over the top of the sketch, because it's easy that way. Now that I'm done with my sketch and my second sketch, I am ready to do some nice clean lines, or as Gox likes to say, sexy lines. Go in there and get it nice and smooth and crisp and make it look all pretty like. So I'm going to zoom in really close to kind of have more control over my lines and get them really precise. You see, I do a lot of erasing because I am kind of nitpicky when it comes to this stage. If it doesn't look perfect, I have to redo it. And it's really good to check things and to zoom out and zoom back in, and also to flip the canvas horizontally to get a look at it from the other angle, make sure things still look okay. So I'll make a few adjustments as I go, but I am happy with the overall design and I think it's coming together pretty nicely. Now I am happy with my line art, and so I went over to the Adobe Color website, previously known as Cooler, and I picked out a color palette. I wanted to do something a little bit non-traditional for Chewbacca. I didn't want to just do brown. Brown is such an ugly color. I mean, it can be pretty. I'm not trying to offend anybody with brown eyes. I think brown eyes are beautiful, but I just wanted to do something a little different. So I'm going to make Chewbacca purple and go with this kind of pink and purple color palette because I think it'll be fun and I like how it looks. Pretty much finished now. Just going to throw a colored background in there and do some text. And I'm not really into the graphic design stuff as much. I mean, I started my career in graphics. I do enjoy and appreciate good graphic design. It's just not super fun for me. So I'm going to just throw some quick text in here and be done with it. So I think that turned out pretty fun. Chewbacca is pretty iconic. He's a great guy. He's like a giant dog. My neighbors actually have a dog named Chewy, and he's a sweetheart. Big old fluffy fur ball. So now that that's out of the way, let's jump in and see what some of the other members of We the Creators have created for their sidekicks. The first submission is by Ford Rasmussen, fellow YouTuber. He made this drawing of Samwise Gamgee, and it is pretty epic, and Samwise is quite the loyal sidekick, I must say. He's one of my favorites. He's just a sweetheart.
I made a promise, Mr. Frodo. A promise. Don't you leave him, Samwise Gamgee. And I don't mean to. I don't mean to.
The next drawing is an original character drawn by Saskia Sketches. I did a collaboration with her, redrawing one of my son's pictures. She's very talented, and this is her character Roax. I don't know how to say it, but it's a talking water fox. Super sweet and always eager to help. The next one is by Shannara. It's kind of a creepy sidekick. It was drawn with a glass pen and markers. Looks pretty awesome. Kind of reminds me of Scyther a little bit, and a centipede or something. Pretty cool. This next one is by Squeegee, and his description is a gooey, fleshy, drippy sidekick who is kind of gross, but insanely intelligent and can help you with your science homework. He's kind of cute too. I like how you can see the heart inside through his gooey, translucent body. The next one is by Succeed Failingy. It is a Makar or a maker from The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. This was his first time attempting digital artwork. He did it first in pencil and then drew it digitally on his computer. Got a brand new tablet to do so. Turned out pretty cool. Next up, we have a very handy arty kitty by Chuck's Art. This little art supply sidekick kitty is ready to go with dart supplies up to his ears. Next we have Type 40 Artist, also an artist on YouTube, and he drew his handy dandy notebook or sketchbook. Handy dandy notebook is from Blue's Clues. I was teasing him with that, but it's his sketchbook. It's not a handy dandy notebook. That's just me being silly. So it's his sketchbook, every artist's best friend. Don't leave home without it. Very cool interpretation of the prompt. Next we have Mr. Toad, who is getting fireballs flung at him. Hopefully not from Mario, but more likely Bowser fella. This is by Uliberry J. He also goes by Bad Pixel Art on Instagram, where he actually posts really good pixel art. And next we have another iconic sidekick. What's a sidekick art challenge without Robin appearing somewhere? I mean, am I right? One of the most iconic duos in cartoon history. And they made a few movies too. Maybe not the best Batman movies ever made, but hey, they were still entertaining. This one is by V. Shipe, and she drew an awesome Robin, followed by another iconic sidekick, Mr. Tails himself, a little helicopter Tails guy holding his ring for Sonic. This one was drawn by Albie, an awesome member of the We the Creators community. Then we have this cute little cuddly blue guy, drawn by Caroline Creates. It's inspired by Stitch. Cool little dude. This next one is an awesome entry by Fripp, the French native speaker, and she drew this dragon kind of mixed with a bat. Kind of has a toothless vibe to him, but he's very cool. Kind of a voile bat creature. I really like it. Turned out awesome. Next we have this cute little rodent superhero by Hannah's Crafty. She is also a YouTuber, and she has a pet hamster that looks a lot like this guy, so I'm sure it's based off of that. Pretty cool. Cute little fella. Wish I had a cracker to give him. Next we have an entry by Joe Rover, and he kind of went the same route as Type 40 with the reliable iPad and his drawing pen and his donut and coffee. That's a pretty good sidekick. Reliable so long as Starbucks is open, right? And your battery's charged. Next we have an entry by Mappy Baby or EyeballZilla on Instagram, and he drew Pyro Jack and Jack Frost from the SMT series. I think they turned out pretty awesome. Little cutesy characters. They're spooky ghosts. This next one I believe is an OC by Meister Opfer. He's got some hot legs, according to Orky. He turned out really cool. I like him a lot. Really clean comic book style drawing. And speaking of Orky, this is her submission. She drew her own little pupper, Winnie, which is her real life sidekick. Very fitting for this drawing prompt and quite a cute little puppers. This next one is by Nivi, and she drew her little sidekick from her D&D game named Eolus, I think. Eolus? He's a cute little fella. His poor ears though, looks like he had them pierced and somebody ripped it right out of there. What a jerk. Next we have a drawing by Minnie, and their submission is weapons that they designed, and they are swords made out of ice with a sapphire center. Pretty cool design. Look like they do some damage though. And lastly we have this cute little drawing by Pat's Patch. Little Eevee and Pikachu doing some snuggling. They're perfect little sidekicks. A lot of creative entries, very cool to see. It's very fun to see people get motivated and excited about drawing and trying new things. Really cool stuff. And now it's time to look at some fan art. So let's jump in and I will play with some of the drawings that were submitted to me and kind of redraw them a bit and go over them. This first one was actually given to me quite a while ago by my cute little neighbor, Happy Dappy Doodoo. She also does little vlogs and stuff on her channel. She likes to draw a lot and does like 3 marker color challenges and stuff. And she's my daughter's best friend. I thought it was sweet of her to draw this picture for me, and I am going to jump into Photoshop with it and kind of do a version myself. I'm not doing this to say, hey, look at me, I could do it better, but just for fun for them. I know she likes to watch the redrawing my son's art videos and stuff. So let's see what I can do with your electric girl. Now I have something to admit. I know I've admitted it in other videos videos, but I don't draw girls very often, so I'm not very good at it. So I need to kind of practice and get better at anatomy and female anatomy and stuff. So that is something I want to get better at. It's just not something I've done a lot of in my artsy career. Usually when I draw girls, I draw them pretty stylized and kind of cartoony. This one, I'm trying to draw a little bit more comic booky, but not precisely comic booky. It's still got some cartoony vibe to it. Simplifying the face, kind of doing a little bit anime-ish. It almost looks like an older version of her character. Maybe hers is the adolescent preteen version, and then my version is more of a 18-year-old adult. So yeah, this is a lot of fun to draw, and I actually appreciate the practice. Thank you, Happy Dappy Doodoo, for the fan art. You are awesome. And keep on drawing. Keep on creating. This next one, a friend of my son's drew and gave to me. His name is Leo, and he actually did a really good job on this. I'm pretty impressed with his anatomy. It's pretty spot on. Did a really good job. So this is a character that he created. His name is Nature. He's an archer. I don't know if he's an elf or not. I can't really see his ears. He's wearing a hood of sorts, but he has a really cool bow design. I really like that. I'm happy to do a quick redrawing of this guy, and I'm actually going to do him in a new art program that I got. Well, I did the line art in Photoshop, but then I'm going to color him in Rebel 3. So I just purchased Rebel 3. It was on the Humble Bundle, and it kind of has some really cool features. It's more painterly. It's more realistic to using traditional art methods like acrylic paints and watercolor, so it's a lot of fun to use, but I'm still really new at it. Kind of learning the ropes a bit. It's always a little bit intimidating to learn new software, but I am really liking the potential that this has, and I'm excited to get better with it. I had a lot of fun drawing and painting up this guy. It makes a really cool composition. I really like the pose that Leo did for his drawing, and it was fun to replicate it. The only suggestions I would have for Leo is to pay attention to perspective. In your drawing, the perspective of the lake didn't really match the perspective of your character. Just something to keep in mind. You are doing awesome, and if you keep drawing, I promise you'll be way better than me at my age. Keep it up, boy. Here is the final picture of Nature, your character Nature. I think he looks pretty rad. I like the backlighting of the moon bouncing off the trees and on his face and stuff. Thanks for sending this, and keep on creating. This next one comes from my sweet little niece, the budding artist Sophie. She is doing really good, and she just keeps drawing, and I love her drawings. She did Inktober for a while, and I loved watching the drawings that her dad, my brother, posted. This one is a little French girl, I'm assuming, carrying a bunch of baguettes. My sister-in-law does have some strong French heritage, so I'm assuming this girl's French. She has a cute little French hat on. A little French poodle. Just kidding. I don't know what kind of dog that is. Just little puppers. And I actually don't think Sophie knows that this was sent to me, so I think this is more of a surprise for her. So surprise, Sophie. I'm going to do a version of your drawing. I love it, and I think you are doing excellent. I love how you stylized this character. I especially love her legs. I feel like those are really cute, and I love the way you drew them. This is just a really good picture overall. Again, if I had any recommendations for you, I would say perspective. Again, same as Leo. Just watch out for perspective. You'll see in a minute here I draw some perspective guidelines that kind of help me plan out the illustration. That's a good practice and something you can do too as you draw. Just do it really lightly with pencil, and then you can erase it afterwards. So again, I'm drawing 2 girls in one day. That's kind of a first for me for a long time. It's good practice for me, so I appreciate the practice. I'm drawing her with her head kind of tilted up as if she's taking a whiff of these freshly baked baguettes. Freshly baked bread smells so good. And again, it looks like I drew the same character as an older version of herself. Kind of funny how that works. Maybe I don't know how to draw little girls either. But yeah, this was a lot of fun to draw, and it turned out really cute. I still like yours better though. Now this next one comes all the way from Puerto Rico from my friend's son Steven. He did this drawing that looks kind of like a movie poster, but then it almost looks like a video game. He has this E rating on there, E for everyone. But it's DuckZilla the movie. Looks like he's shooting lasers out of his eyes, and I saw this and I thought, hey, I need to do a Photoshop job of this one. So a few years ago I designed a bunch of sweaters for the company Beloved Shirts, and one of the designs I did was a cat shooting lasers, destroying a city. KittyZilla or Catzilla. I did that in Photoshop, just editing a bunch of images together, so I wanted to do that for this one and make it kind of look like a rip-off movie cover, the ones that you would see in like the red boxes, trying to monopolize off of other popular blockbusters and do their own versions. Or maybe something like a Sharknado cover or something like that. So I grabbed a bunch of stock images off of a stock image website that I have an account with, and I am just going to play with them and see if I can put them all together in a composition that works and is a pretty decent looking rip-off movie cover and a tribute to Steven's drawing here. But here's the final. Would you rent this movie at a Redbox? I probably would. But thank you, Steven, for your artwork, and keep drawing. Your artwork is awesome and you are doing great. If you're disappointed and you want to see me redraw one of your characters, go ahead and send me a new one and I will do it the next time I do one of these videos. So now let's take a look at a few weekly challenges, just to show you some of the different practices that we have done, and you can try these challenges too by yourselves. If you, for whatever reason, don't want to join our Discord group, We the Creators, or you can't, you can see the challenges in this video and go ahead and try them out yourselves to kind of boost your creativity and to push yourself in new directions and learn new things and draw things you wouldn't normally draw. So the first drawing challenge we did is a shape challenge. So I supplied a shape that I just randomly scribbled and everybody took it and drew something out of it. It's awesome to see everybody's imagination kick into gear and see them all draw different things. Very rarely do two things ever look similar. Just by looking at these pictures on here, there's so many different variations and creatures and characters and illustrations that came out of just this one shape. One way that you can do this is just to scribble shapes randomly on a piece of paper or in your Photoshop or whatever digital program you like to use and challenge yourself into creating something out of it. This is great for your creativity and gets you to look at shapes differently, to imagine different ways to use lines, gets those creative juices flowing, and you are better off for doing it. The next challenge that we did comes 100% from Saskia Sketches. I give her all of the credit and she actually drew the pictures in this drawing here. So the goal is to loosen up and to get yourself kind of free flowing and a little bit more confident in your line work. What you do is you take 20 minutes to draw a picture, preferably a photograph, draw it for 20 minutes and then take that same photograph and draw it in 10 minutes and then do it again at half that time, so 5, and then half of 5 at 2.5 minutes. It's really impressive to see how much detail you are still able to put in at the 2.5 minute mark or at the 5 minute mark compared to the original 20 or 10 minute drawing. Some of these people were able to get color in and I am pretty impressed with that. I don't know how they did that because I was not able to do that in my drawings. And I noticed when I did it that my first drawing really didn't look too good. It was really stiff. A lot of times I kind of go into things a little bit overconfident in my skills and my ability, and I don't realize that I need to warm up to perform well. Just like sports. It's not something you normally really think about for art, but it does actually apply. Thank you so much, Saskia Sketches, for contributing this practice and this challenge to us all, and We the Creators. And now it's time to ramble on about my channel a little bit. My original goal was to post 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but to be honest, I kind of got a little bit burned out. I was kind of burning the candle at both ends, pulling really late nights and able to finish videos and post them on time in the mornings. So please bear with me as I kind of figure out a schedule that works better for me and that is more manageable and maintainable. I don't really want to kill myself here. It would be awesome to do this full time, and I think if I ever got to that point that 3 videos a week would be totally manageable and easy to pull off, but I work a full-time job and I am a father of 6 little kiddos. I kind of have a lot on my plate right now. But I'm not going to stop doing this because I love it so much and it has been really a huge area of growth for me. Drawing and creativity has always been a huge piece of my heart and my passion, and making time for it is very important to me, so I'm going to keep doing this channel the best I can. I think 2 videos a week might be a little bit more manageable, and if I am feeling awesome that week and I find the time to do it, I might do 3. So please bear with me as I kind of develop a schedule, and I hope I can figure out a schedule that works for everybody. Thank you so much for being on this journey with me and for watching these videos. I really appreciate you guys. It is very motivating to see comments and to see people excited about the content I'm producing. You guys are really awesome, and as corny as it sounds, my heart goes out to every single one of you. Thank you so much. This has been Haddy the Creator, and I will catch you on the next video.